Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Fight Pit Podcast, episode 20. This is UFC 300. It just happened. This is probably the best UFC card to have happened in a long time.
For sure.
And I'm not saying there's been bad ones. It's just this one was amazing. Probably knockout of the year in Max Holloway versus Justin Geathje.
Absolutely crazy.
The Oliveira Sarukin fight it had a bad outcome.
Yeah.
Which that's not like wrestling terms where you blame the booker. That was just Charles Oliveira having maybe an off night or whatever. It went to a decision, so I feel like if they had a rematch, it might go a different way. But
maybe.
Either way, yeah, I don't know. Sarukin, something to be dealt with. Yeah, we'll just get this started off. I didn't actually watch this, and there's probably some more fights, but the early prelims, I started watching at 8. I wasn't going to watch the 6 o'clock ones.
Right.
But because this is such a big card, in those early prelims, they had a huge fight, which was Jim Miller versus Bobby Green. I didn't actually watch this, but I've seen the stuff online, and Bobby Green won by unanimous decision. Jim Miller was busted open.
Dude was
bad.
Busted up.
Really bad. But, yeah, I don't think Jim Miller's retiring yet, and it's already been said that he's been in UFC since UFC 100, and definitely less than that. But, so is John Jones, but I guess he was at UFC 100, 200, and now 300.
That's awesome.
He won the 100 and 200. He didn't win this one, though. But a lot of people are speculating he would retire, which that doesn't seem like it's going to happen.
No.
At least not soon.
Yeah.
Which, that's his decision. But the first fight that actually happened at the 8 o'clock ones when the prelims started was Diego Lopez taking on Sodiq Yusuff. And Lopez got the 22nd TKO.
I think I caught the back end of this fight. I didn't actually catch the actual fight.
Now, this was a featherweight fight, so it's, going for Ilia Topuria. Diego Lopez, this is the first one I've watched of his. I've heard of Sodiq Yusuff. Mm-hmm. I don't remember exactly where I heard of him from, but, Lopez makes a huge statement, and I think he's either not ranked yet, which he's probably ranked now after this fight.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
He's either not ranked or he's in the top 15, but at the 15 or 14 or 13 position.
Yeah.
But yeah, that could be a bright future for Diego Lopez, but he's got a stacked division to go against in the featherweight division, especially with that showcase by Holloway.
Yeah.
Which was technically lightweight, but he's in the featherweight. But the next one we had was Holly Holm taking on Kayla Harrison in a women's bantamweight matchup.
Holly Holm, excuse me. Holly Holm absolutely got picked apart by Kayla Harrison. She was brutalizing Holly Holm.
I don't like to judge fighters when they've gotten later in their career because it's not their prime.
Right,
this isn't their best. However, Kayla Harrison really showed that she's something to be dealt with her wrestling in particular. Yeah. Holly Holm, she's more of a boxer. They were talking about it on commentary, right? She just got picked apart. It didn't matter if it was the boxing or the wrestling or anything. Harrison had her number.
Yeah.
Holm clinched Harrison first, which was kind of a surprise that she would actually initiate the wrestling. And Harrison gets the takedown, but Holm ends up on top in this scramble where Harrison was on top, then Holm got on top. And then Harrison was able to take over and just ground and pound for the rest of round 1, which was Harrison just completely taking over, some elbows in there. This was her debut, and she was from the PFL, which I guess they don't do elbows in PFL. I've never watched PFL.
I've never watched PFL either, so I couldn't tell you.
But I remember them mentioning when she was doing the ground and pound elbows, it's a new tool for her. So that's cool. But Holm could not control the distance at all, and Harrison gets the double legs into the cage, and she keeps her down, pressure's obvious, and she tries for a guillotine, but she doesn't get it. And then she takes her down and gets a rear naked choke for the win, and Harrison submission round 2, she gets the victory against Holm, which, I don't know. Do you think Holly Holm should retire? Is that something that is
I think soon. Definitely soon. I don't know. I guess that's ultimately up to her. I've always viewed her as a one-fight pony. Like the one-trick pony sort of spiel, but a one-fight pony. I feel like she's still only relevant because of her knockout against Ronda. I feel like if that wouldn't have happened, she wouldn't be relevant.
Well, that
right
was
now.
for the championship. So
I mean, I understand that, but I'm like, I feel like that's the only reason she's even relevant anymore.
Right.
Because, like, I think I've seen one of her fights, and it was okay. Like, this fight, it was okay. She didn't do that. Well, the fight wasn't okay. Her performance was okay.
Right. I mean, like I said...
The fight was good. That's because Kayla Harrison absolutely dominated this fight.
Yeah.
But I think she should retire. Like, I don't know if she does one more fight. Honestly, knowing Holly Holm, she probably will. But I think if she does do another fight, it's time to retire after that fight, especially if she loses.
I will say, I'm not a professional fighter, so I don't really know when is the opportune time to quit. It seems like for Tony Ferguson, like he's past that. He's already past where he would have won the championship. And I feel like the only reason they really stay in the fight game is to win championships. And if you're at the point where you can't, There's no
sense of going on.
I don't see a point in that. But people like Tony Ferguson or probably Geathje, just based off of the character, like they like that fight. Yeah. They're not in it for the championships entirely, but I don't know. Either way, moving on. Kattar versus Sterling, featherweight division. Sterling was coming up from bantamweight, obviously losing to Sean O'Malley, losing the championship. So, kind of a new chapter for Sterling, and he moves up.
I was just about to say this was an awful fight. This was awful.
What do you mean?
Not on Sterling's part, but Kattar. Kattar did absolutely nothing in this fight.
He was just so overmatched. Like Sterling showed his wrestling here.
I know. That was my thing. Like, I think I was talking to my dad, and I was like, the only way Kattar wins is if he can keep Sterling on his feet. And within the first round, Sterling gets like 5 takedowns in the first round. I'm like, yeah, no, Kattar's done. He's done.
Yeah.
He looked like he gave up in the first round because of how many times he got taken down.
I think he got taken down twice in the first.
Oh, I thought, or maybe it was in the first 2 rounds.
I think he takes him down.
No, it was 4.
I have it noted.
It was 4 in the first round. I remember that because they popped up the graphic. It was 4 in the first round.
It
said 4 for 6, I think.
I think he takes him down twice in the first, takes him
twice
down
in the second.
And then for the third round, he took him down.
Okay, maybe it was second round. I thought that was first round.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe it was 4 overall. But still.
Sterling in the first round took him down halfway through the round. Kattar was able to get up, and then he takes him down again. 15 seconds to go in the first round, he took him down. And then the second round, he takes him down a minute in, and the crowd is booing Sterling. Just because they want to see a knockout. They don't want to see the wrestling. Yeah. I have appreciation for the wrestling. I really like the
I do, but I'm also in the same crowd. I do not want to see like constant wrestling through every fight, so I get it.
Right, I get it too, but I don't know. It kind of seems disrespectful to me to have a martial artist doing their thing. Literally, this is what they've trained for. This is their job, and then they're getting booed because they're doing a good job.
I think with somebody like Aljamain Sterling, I think I can appreciate it and not be bored by it. But with somebody who is known to be a striker, who's known for their power, it's a little different because it's like, you have this power and you're not utilizing it.
Right.
But I think it's different with Sterling.
He took him down, he got booed, and then actually Sterling's the one that, like, Kattar got up, Sterling separated the wrestling with a combination, and he was getting some good combinations, but he took him down again, and Sterling was dominating him hard. Third round starts, Sterling takes the back immediately, controls him on the ground against the cage. He's looking for an arm head choke, and then Kattar looks like a joke.
He does look like a joke throughout this whole fight.
for the lightweight division, or not lightweight, for the featherweight division, I mean, his most famous moment is getting pieced up by Max Holloway. That's Kattar's most famous moment.
That's crazy.
And now, I don't know. I know he'd kick my ass, but
yeah,
I don't know. I think he's ranked number 8, and Sterling in the featherweight division's ranked number 13 or something. So he's probably going to go down in the ranking like a lot.
Yeah,
he's definitely going down. But Sterling won by decision. It was 30-27, which was gracious. That should have been 30, because that means that it was scored 10-9 for each round. It should have been scored 10-8.
yeah.
Like, he did not get a lot. But, yeah, I really look forward to see Sterling in the featherweight division. Especially for him to come up and just dominate the way he did. It just shows how good of a fighter he is.
To see. It'll be very interesting to see what he does.
And yes, I understand that a lot of fighters, they don't fight, or they don't walk around at what they fight at. Sterling probably, I think they mentioned he walks around at 170 or 180 or something like that. But, yeah, moving on, light heavyweight division matchup, which I'm excited whenever I see Jiří Procházka.
Yeah.
He's one of the most exciting fighters today. Light heavyweight division as well. He has such an unorthodox style in how he keeps his arms down, which I will say, in this fight in particular, him keeping his arms down, which a lot of times it is his downfall, especially in the Pereira fight. I mean, because you can't do that against Pereira.
No.
But in this fight as well, he kept his arms down, or he kept his hands down, and he was getting lit up a few times. So Jiří versus Rakic. I think it's Rakic, right?
I don't know. I didn't watch this fight, so I have no idea.
Rakic basically destroys Jiří's left leg. He kicks him 10 times in the first round in the left leg, probably.
I mean, that's the way to go.
I mean, yeah.
Because Jiří's a big dude. And you take out his legs, perfect.
And Rakic was throwing bombs, like, for real, throwing them. But Jiří's strategy, like I said, strategy of keeping the hands down, it wasn't working. But Jiří was still in the fight. He was just getting messed up a little bit in the first round. And then there was a flurry at the end of round 1 by Jiří. So he's trying to make a comeback, kind of. And then we move on to round 2, and it's just a slugfest. These two are throwing bombs, and Jiří's getting the upper hand.
I'm kind of mad that I missed this fight. This sounds good.
Jiří hurts him, and then Jiří wins by TKO round 2, which I'm always happy to see Jiří win.
Yeah.
And I know I talked a lot about Jiří. I'm a huge fan of him. Let's not discredit Rakic. He did get TKO'd, but he was giving it to one of the top contenders of light heavyweight division. This is a former light heavyweight champion.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was a really good fight. I liked that fight. But moving on, we go to probably one of the most hated fighters today, Bo Nickel. Maybe not hated. There's a lot of people. There's a lot of people that don't like him, but
I feel like it's more disrespected than hated.
Yeah,
because I feel like people just don't like him. I don't know why. I love him. I love his style.
I don't know. I think it's because he really kind of hams on the fact that he is the best wrestler, and maybe there's not enough footage, but he is only 6 fights into the MMA. Not just UFC. In MMA, he only has 6 fights. He's a wrestler.
Yeah.
He is he's probably the best wrestler in UFC when it comes to
if you go back to his college days, like when he was in college wrestling, dude was a beast.
Yeah, maybe he's just disrespected because he's not from the MMA fight game. He's from a wrestling background. And plus we have the wrestlers of the Russians mainly, like the Dagestanis that legitimately wrestle all day.
Yeah.
However, he's said it, he's very spoken about it, that Islam Makhachev, Khabib Nurmagomedov, they have nothing when it comes to wrestling on the NCAA guys. He's from NCAA, right? That's the college.
Who? Bo?
Yeah. Okay,
well, that's what I don't know what college specifically, but I know he was a big wrestler.
That's the kind of
that's the collegiate level of wrestling, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, he's very outspoken about being supposedly better than the Dagestanis, so but he really proved it here. But he also proved in this fight that his jiu-jitsu skills need work.
Yeah.
He could keep that guy down all day. Cody Brundage is who he was fighting, middleweight division, by the way. He proved that he could take him down, that his wrestling is amazing. He tried for so many submissions and just didn't get them.
No.
Like, my uncle, he was watching it with me, and he described it perfectly, I think. He said that Bo Nickel is that guy that he's looking for the openings. He's not creating them like jiu-jitsu guys do.
He waits.
They're getting the leg. They're getting the leg primed to hook in that heel hook or something, but he's just waiting for an opening. He's waiting to get the arm around.
Skills, because not everybody's gonna be. Not everybody's gonna just give you the chance to hit those openings. Like, some people close off that opportunity, so he needs to learn to take the opportunity rather than wait for it.
Well, I really think he obviously has the potential to be a great fighter. And I do want to mention about the Islam Makhachev thing. Bo Nickel's in the middleweight division, Islam's in the lightweight division, so that's not even competition there. Bo Nickel would destroy Islam just because he weighs more. Yeah. But another thing is that although he might be able to wrestle, when it gets to the top level guys, he's in the middleweight division, dude.
Yeah.
That's Dricus du Plessis. That's that champion. And Dricus du Plessis, he's bred in MMA.
Yeah.
Like, just like Jamal Hill was saying about Pereira. Yeah, he's a kickboxer, but I'm bred in MMA. Obviously, that didn't matter.
No, that didn't matter at all.
But legitimately, that kind of stands for Bo Nickel.
Yeah.
But he does get very disrespected. Brundage was looking for a lot of spinning attacks, I noticed. But Bo just controlled with wrestling in the first round, and Brundage survived the first round. He didn't get submitted. Like I was saying, that's because Bo just didn't lock in. He wasn't able to get the submission. Round 2 starts, and Brundage tries for a kick, but Bo Nickel's able to catch it. And he's trying to get the takedown, but Brundage gets out of it. And then he evades another huge takedown. And then Nickel obviously takes him down anyway.
Yeah.
Controls him on the ground. Nickel mounts. And then Brundage escapes the rear naked choke. Bo gets it anyway. And then Nickel wins by rear naked choke. Round 2. And Nickel himself was disappointed with his performance. I thought it was very obvious during the first round that he was missing out on a lot of openings. A lot of submission.
Sure.
A lot of submission.
Definitely didn't look like past fights he had where it was a lot cleaner.
He's been knocking dudes out. He wasn't able to knock out Brundage because I don't even think he was really trying too much. But because he was just wrestling, really. Mm-hmm. But he wasn't able to get that submission until later in the round 2. But either way, Bo Nickel, he won. You know.
Which is good for him. He's still undefeated.
And he's only 6 fights in the UFC, so...
See who he faces next?
Coming up next, Oliveira and Sarukin, lightweight division.
This was a very interesting fight.
Starting off the first round, Sarukin falls from a kick, and then Oliveira almost chokes him out, and I am surprised. I was surprised he didn't choke him out.
Sarukin survives.
Literally, it was a guillotine, right?
Yeah, and he survives the round.
You could see on his face the panic. You could see, oh my god, it was so tight, and Oliveira...
I thought he was going to tap.
Oliveira's one of the best jiu-jitsu practitioners today in the modern UFC game, and he had him deep, and I thought he was going to tap too. I was getting excited, and he was somehow able to get out, and then Sarukin was able to get on top, and then Charles, while they're on the ground, head kicks the fuck out of Sarukin. Like, on the ground, so illegal. So
he doesn't even care initially.
You didn't need Joe Rogan to say, oh, that was illegal, because you freaking knew that was illegal.
I think Charles Oliveira knew it too. I think he cared, but he didn't care at the same time.
I don't know, for real.
It's hard to tell.
I can't say the intention of that, but that was so obviously an illegal head kick on the ground. It was like an up kick.
Yeah,
but Sarukin was knees and hands.
I think he clipped
and
his chin and then hit his shoulder.
I will say, giving Sarukin credit, he just kept going. And the only reason that he stopped was because Herb Dean, or the referee stopped him. I don't remember who the ref was.
I love the referee after this because he's over there talking to Sarukian, and you hear the ref like, "Stop! Don't move! Don't move!" He's talking to Oliveira because they're trying to figure out what's going on because they have to bring the doctor in and everything, make sure he's still stable and he can stay on his feet. He's just like, "No, you stay!" Treating him like a dog or something. He's like, "Stay! Stay!"
So we get the timeout after that head kick, and they start right back over what position they were at. Sarukin was on top. So they start it, and then Charles reverses the position, and then that ends round 1. Round 2 starts. Sarukin gets the takedown. Charles reverses and then stands up. Sarukin takes down Charles again, and then Sarukin's able to get some top control. And Charles, as always, I think this is one of the downfalls of his game. The fact that he's such a good jiu-jitsu practitioner. He wants to stay on his back. That's where he thrives.
Yeah.
But you don't get points on your back.
Right.
Sarukin, even though maybe he was being controlled by Charles, he was still on top. So that was maybe a factor that played into this. But Charles had great guard work. Charles tries for an armbar. And, probably almost gets, I can't remember exactly. Sarukin with hard elbows, and Charles busted open. Yeah. And then Charles tried for the triangle hold. And, one thing that happened at the beginning of the round that I forgot to write down was a crazy axe kick by Sarukin on Charles.
Oh, yeah, landed right on the top
legitimately, like, right at the beginning of the round, a huge axe kick. And you don't really see that often. So, and I love the axe kick. It's awesome. So I was happy to see that. Round 3 starts. There was a nice 1-2 by Charles. Sarukin's able to get the takedown on Charles halfway in the round. Charles gets the choke, but does not finish. And that was another thing. I was so upset how close Charles was to getting...
Sarukin just wouldn't give up.
Yeah, and he was... I thought Sarukin had won. But it was just very close. You couldn't decide it. But he won by split decision. Armin Sarukin beats Charles Oliveira. And I do want to say that this is the first time that someone other than Islam Makhachev has beaten the top 3 contenders. And those are being Dustin Poirier, Justin Gaethje, and Charles Oliveira.
That's crazy.
Like, when it came to Fiziev, I can't remember exactly if I'm pronouncing that right. But he was ranked number 6. Yeah. He was ranked number 6. He tried for Justin Gaethje to break into the top 3. Wasn't able to do it. You had Beneil Dariush go after Charles. Wasn't able to do it. I'm trying to think of the other example. It was Dustin Poirier and Benoit Saint Denis. He wasn't able to do it either. So this is the first time that somebody has been able to get into that top 3 other than Islam Makhachev, which is just it is a real... And I do want to say that he hasn't defended it, and the only person he did beat was Charles. Mm-hmm. It's just a testament to how good Islam is.
It's crazy.
But the only other person he's defended that bout against is Alexander Volkanovski, so...
Yeah.
Whatever. Anyway, I was pretty upset to see Charles lose.
Yeah. I mean, Sarukin is facing, I believe, Makhachev. I don't know when, but...
Wait, really?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure winner of this fight was going to get a title shot against, I think, Makhachev. Or maybe I think of the wrong one.
Okay, we got to move on because I'm so excited to talk about this fight. Holloway versus Geathje.
Yes.
Lightweight division. This was 100% the match of the night.
This might be, I know there's a lot of great fights that have happened this year. This might be fight of the year. Honestly.
I mean, we're only in April, so we can see what happens, but...
As of right now, this has definitely got to be fight of the year. This was nuts.
So, we started off... I actually didn't watch it until the end of round 1. But at the end of round 1, Holloway was able to get a... actually, I didn't start watching it until round 3. But they showed it, and they were talking about Holloway hitting a spinning kick right to the face of Justin Gaethje at the end of round 1.
A low spin kick right onto the bridge of the nose of... Gaethje, and you just see blood pouring out of his nose. You see it get busted.
Yeah.
And it's like, what fight was that? Where you just see his nose shatter.
Oh, are you talking about
McDonald,
Robbie Lawler and McDonald?
Yeah, McDonald versus Lawler. It was kind of like that sort of thing. I mean, you don't see his nose shatter, but I mean, you do see like the impact and then the blood. It was disgusting.
Yeah, but I noticed the entire fight, and I'd never really noticed this about Holloway's game.
Yeah,
and I think he's been incorporating it more. But he really controls the distance with body kicks. That spinning body kick is something that he's been incorporating more and more.
Yeah.
I've seen him throw some front kicks throughout the entire fight, but he was really keeping Geathje away. And I think part of the reason that Geathje, maybe he was off of his game because of those spinning kicks, especially at the end of round 1 when he got kicked right in the nose. That probably messed him up, like, mentally.
Yeah,
maybe.
Probably did.
I'm just speculating.
It could have. It very well could have.
I did see the Hawaiian shorts. I want to mention that for Holloway. That was awesome. But yeah, on round 3, Holloway just putting on the pressure, spinning back kicks to the body the entire round. Like I was saying, the entire fight. Round 4 was back and forth. Both of them putting on the pressure. Geathje... it was very obvious Geathje was losing.
Yeah.
Just how much pressure... And
the Holloway was...
It's kind of surreal to see how everybody was saying Geathje's too powerful. Even I was worried. I was really wanting Holloway to win, but I was really expecting Geathje to just
overpower,
do
Holloway.
The thing he did to Tony Ferguson.
Just straight up.
Hopefully not on that level, but still, I was expecting something big for Holloway losing, but it's just kind of surreal to see that Holloway dominated throughout the entire fight. Yeah. But Justin was swinging, and he actually is the first ever person to knock Holloway down.
Yeah.
Which, that's a testament to Holloway, the fact he's fought for so long and hasn't been knocked down. But Geathje's got some hands.
Yeah.
But Holloway was just too much. He kept using that front kick to manage distance. Round 5, Geathje's swinging for the fences. Which is always something that Geathje does. Holloway just throwing flurries at one after another, like every single one of his fights before. 4-strike combinations, 5-strike combinations. Yeah. There was one point during the 5th round where there was so much pressure on Geathje that he just covered up and Holloway went at him. He caught him with great body hooks, and then that set up Geathje to be like, okay, I need to cover up. And then he was getting hit, face, side of the head, everywhere. So much pressure, body shots. And, yeah, this ending
is wild.
This ending just needs to be talked about. After 5 rounds of Holloway,
5 full rounds,
showing the entire crowd, showing the entire world that he's on a different level, he points at the ground, that notorious point.
He said, "You're going down."
They both
start throwing flurries of punches, going back and forth, land shots out of nowhere. Geathje goes for a hook. Holloway literally ducks, and as he comes up, lands a nasty hook on the jaw. Geathje falls right to the ground. Holloway called his shot. Legit called his shot and said he was going down. Literally with 1 second left, called his shot. I said, this is knockout of the year. Like,
I love that.
Oh my goodness.
I love that flurry by both. Like, when Holloway points at the ground, I absolutely love it. I wasn't expecting it.
Yeah.
Because I thought that he was going to get knocked out, honestly.
I know there's been a lot of great knockouts this year, but I think that might have been one of the cleanest knockouts I've ever seen.
Joe Rogan said that's the best knockout ever.
I don't disagree.
Yeah, how can you?
Like,
I love that. That's probably one of my favorites.
Within a flurry of punches, and he's able to duck and hook at the last second.
Well, the thing about
Holloway, lands
Holloway,
it clean.
With those flurries, each shot sets up the next one. Like, he's already 3 moves ahead, and Geathje just... I felt like Geathje was playing catch-up here.
Yeah.
He was playing catch-up, and Holloway... Like, you could see the swing of his body, how he hits that one shot, and it's immediately into the next one, and... Goodness.
Brutal.
I was so surprised. I was like...
I was so hyped when he knocked him out because it was...
Dude, at first I was like, is he like resting or something?
Reminded me of the Josh Emmett, Bryce Mitchell fight. Just how quick he fell to the ground. I mean, obviously minus the mini seizure.
It was very bittersweet with this because Holloway could have won without Geathje getting this concussion CTE. Which, trust me, he probably already had it. But getting knocked out is, like, for sure going to cause some kind of brain damage.
Yeah.
And it's kind of bittersweet to see that, yeah, he could have won without that happening, but... As a UFC fan, that's one of the greatest moments of all time. Legitimately, probably.
This is one of those fights, like, I mean, you expected it to happen at one point or another, but it's like a dream fight.
Yeah.
And it ended in the most perfect way you could ever imagine it ending.
The greatest knockout of all time in MMA history. Now, the next fight may not be, fight of the year or fight of all time. Whatever. This was a great fight. Jan, excuse my pronunciation, Xiaonan or whatever, versus Zhang Weili.
I didn't watch this fight.
This was for the women's, I think this was 125.
Yeah, so I think...
It would have been women's...
not bantamweight, it would have been...
flyweight.
Flyweight, yeah. Yep.
I believe.
Something like that.
But the first round... It was obvious. Zhang is one of the best women's fighters of all time.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And she was able to choke Jan out in the first round. Legitimately. You didn't watch it?
No, I didn't watch any of the fight.
This is how it went. First round, Zhang is just controlling her on the ground. She gets her in a rear naked choke. She chokes her out. And then, the bell went off. So... She legitimately got choked out, but the fight kept on going because it was the end of the round.
Huh?
I don't know if she was unconscious before the bell. I don't know if that would constitute if they could prove that she was unconscious before the bell, if that would constitute as Zhang winning in the first round.
Yeah.
Or if she actually was unconscious after the round. But either way, the fight continued.
Yeah.
And yeah, that was a moment right there. The round 2 started. And they were mentioning on commentary, because Jan had been passed out, they went over to her and put something under her nose. So they were asking,
smelling salt.
Is smelling salt allowed? And they were saying, no, it's not. But then I think in round 3, they mentioned, no, it wasn't smelling salt. They just put ice under her nose or something like that. So, yeah, whatever. Or no, it was during round 2 they mentioned that. But, yeah, basically... Zhang was able to flatten her out. She got on her back. She's face down on the canvas, and she's just ground and pounding Jan. And I was really thinking Jan was going to lose. Like, right here. She was about to get TKO'd. And Jan was able to get the top position. And then Zhang was able to escape, and then that's the end of round 2. Round 3 starts. Jan knocks her down. Wow. I was like, okay, in this moment, I know Zhang won. But in this moment, watching it, I was like, "Oh my god, there's no way."
Because you don't see Zhang Weili get knocked down a lot.
No, it's not just that. She literally should have lost in the first round. If she would have came back here, it would have been the greatest comeback of all time.
Just knocks her out after that.
I swear, it was watching it in the moment. It was crazy, and they were basically. I think Jan was on the ground. Zhang was at the. Maybe it was the other way around. I don't remember. They were leg kicking each other like it was UFC 4. Legitimately. And then they scramble. Jan's able to land up on top during the scramble. And then that's the end of round 3. So, actually, we said it was women's flyweight. It's actually women's strawweight. But, whatever.
It's alright.
Moving on to round 4. Jan knocks her down again. I couldn't believe that. Legitimately, she gets passed out in the first round. Then she gets ground and pounded in the second round. At the end of the second round, she's able to get on top.
Yeah.
And then she knocks her down in the third round. Knocks her down in the fourth round. And goodness. Zhang throws low, and Jan's able to catch. And then Jan gets the back. And then Zhang's able to reverse onto the top. And then she has Jan's back. And then Zhang just controls on the ground for the rest of the round. That's survival.
Wow.
Jan survived that round. But it was...
She should have never been in that fight.
Fifth round starts. Zhang hits a huge head kick, and she gets it. And then she gets taken down again. Actually, maybe Jan reversed. I don't know. Anyway, she gets taken down, and then for the rest of the fight, the rest of the round, Zhang just controls on the ground. And she gets the unanimous decision win. And yeah, it was a great fight.
Yeah.
I mean, it was hard to follow up on Geathje versus Holloway.
Right.
And they followed up.
Yeah.
Maybe not with a better fight, but at least good.
Close, yeah.
It was really good. And, yeah, Zhang is a very dominant champion.
She has been very dominant. I haven't seen all of her fights, but I think I've watched the fight where she won the title and the fight after. And she's a good fighter. I personally skipped this match. One, it was late at night, and I needed to shower before work. So I was like, I'm going to skip this match because it seems like I thought it was going to be like wrestler versus wrestler. So I'm like, this might not be a super fun match. And based on your description, it actually was a good match. So I'm kind of mad I missed it. But that's kind of why I skipped it. But yeah, it was also late. So I was kind of falling asleep.
But moving on, main event time.
This is crazy.
Alex Pereira, Jamal Hill, light heavyweight championship on the line. The most dominant champion, probably Alex Pereira. One of the best fighters in MMA history, probably, when it comes to the career he has had. I think he has beaten in his eight wins that he has in the UFC. He has beaten 5 former UFC world champions. Mm-hmm. And that includes Sean Strickland, Israel Adesanya, who is one of the best middleweights of all time.
Yep. Yuri. Yeah,
Yuri Prochazka, Jan Blachowicz, and now Jamal Hill.
Absolutely insane. That's why he's one of my favorites.
Alex Pereira had on some nice shorts, and round 1 started. And I don't know what it was. I don't know if I was just, thinking I'm smart, like I'm a mark or something. But I was really seeing Jamal Hill, like, it was something about his stance or the way he was moving towards Alex. There was something off.
Yeah.
It was like he wasn't confident.
Yeah.
And he shouldn't have been.
No. But the funny thing about this has nothing to do with the fight. I legit blacked out during this fight.
Really?
I was literally I watched the walk-ups. Or the walkouts, and they get in the ring, and I just pass out.
Well, I'll tell you
fall asleep. And I wake up, and my dad's like, yo, Pereira won. I was like, what? I literally wake up, and the match is over. I'm like, what just happened?
So you passed out during it?
I didn't pass out. I fell asleep.
Well, I'll tell you who else passed out during it.
Jamal Hill. I caught the end of it. They showed a replay. Bro. Pereira and the balls this dude has, legit, and no pun intended.
No, the durability of his balls.
Dude literally gets low blowed by Jamal Hill. Herb Dean's like, "You okay?" He's like, "Nah, we don't need you."
Stop! Get away from me!
He said, "Get away from me." This dude
3 seconds later
lands the cleanest uppercut on Jamal Hill. Dude falls down, lands a ground and pound. And how does he celebrate? Kabe Lame.
He was saying that he wouldn't have, like... He said he would have made it last 5 rounds, but Hill was disrespectful, so he had to knock him out.
He said, you disrespect me, I disrespect you. Straight up did, I forget his name. I think it's Kabe Lame or something like that. He was big, and TikTok, he would do something that was stupid, like common sense things that people try to make difficult. The whole hand thing that he does, he did that at Jamal Hill. He was like...
I know who you're talking about, yeah. Yeah,
I'm like...
He kind of made fun of him.
Bro.
And honestly, Hill deserved it.
He did.
He wasn't.
He
might be a great fighter. He was not being humble about it at all.
No, he wasn't.
He got humbled.
You try to humble Pereira, you're gonna get humbled hard.
This was the greatest example of a guy who just talks trash versus the guy who just does the work. The guy who doesn't
need to say anything.
He doesn't even smile.
No, he doesn't.
He is the most stoic person I've ever seen in my entire life.
He walks out, does his job, leaves. Dude wins, yes. He goes in, he does his job, he wins, he leaves. That's why he's one of my favorite UFC fighters of all time. The dude does not care about anything. He's like, I came here to win fights, win belts, and leave. I'm done. I don't want to be disrespected.
And some big announcements by Dana White. The biggest announcement is that on June 29th, it will be Conor McGregor versus Michael Chandler.
Yeah.
Which fans have been waiting for a while. We were thinking August. A lot of people were thinking August, but we're getting it in June. That's 2 months away. This honestly should have happened last year.
For sure.
I don't even want to talk about it. I'm just happy that this fight is finally going to happen, and I'm excited to see the return of the Mac.
I'll laugh if Conor McGregor returns after all this time and just gets absolutely brutalized by Chandler.
I don't know, because
I don't think it'll happen. I just think I'm gonna laugh if that does happen, though.
Let's speculate on that for a second. McGregor is probably past his prime.
Yes.
He broke his ankle, which he's coming off of an injury.
That broken ankle was nasty. I remember watching that live. That was... Because he literally steps back and just...
I mean, it was
snaps.
the same way as... Not the exact same way, but it was very similar to how Anderson Silva and...
Oh, yeah.
Maybe on a lesser scale, because that was right in the middle of the shin, but his was lower. I don't know if that causes less pain.
Ankle, and it was just...
But either way, it broke. And so he's coming off of an injury, and... I don't know. Like,
it's hard to tell.
After his boxing match with Floyd Mayweather, that caused some issues with his MMA fighting because he was focused on boxing only. His stance was changed. He didn't use kicks as much to control the distance. Now he just uses punches.
Right.
Michael Chandler, because he's been waiting on this fight, he might be out of conditioning a little bit. I know he's been training nonstop, but he hasn't had the fight experience since probably at least 2 years. I'm not sure.
Probably close to it.
Probably since the Ferguson fight, really. Maybe not. Maybe not. I'm not sure. I couldn't tell you for certain. I'm not a good journalist. But, yeah, that's it for UFC 300. The biggest UFC event since UFC 200. And the biggest UFC event there will be until probably the return of the Mac.
Yeah.
And I'm very excited for that. And, yeah, this delivered entirely.
Yeah, for real.
So we will see you guys in the next one. Check out our Greatest Royal Rumble podcast, which will be coming out next week. That's episode 21, and check out any of our previous ones if you want to. If you're just a UFC fan, we have some other UFC content, and if you're a wrestling fan as well, we have plenty of that. So we will see you guys in the next one.
See ya.
Up in it, bitch, we tryna get higher. Put it back, I cooking it, rack me, eating that pack of meal and stapper, holding it down, pull up in the primary rip, that just that faking the cat. Yeah, killing the trapper, coming back, I'll break new loose, keep up in the track, I'm feeling the beachy, burning, healing, marking it, tie beam, baking me screech. Don't clap in the sea, air track and pee, I'm master love, but feet too deep, I'm switching my game, take pass and see, even with my shot, no line to see.